Welcome back. Most of us, whether we record in booths or not, want to minimize noise, and even if you have a relatively new MacBook Pro, which is unbelievably quiet, there's still the issue of sound reflecting off the screen if you have it in the right position to use the trackpad and keyboard. So lots of people end up getting a separate mouse, and I recommend the Magic Mouse or Magic Trackpad because you can use them silently, and a keyboard. But even quiet keyboards have a tendency to not be absolutely silent. So while originally I was, in fact, trying to find something like a simple 8, 10 or 12 button macro keyboard that I could program shortcuts into, that didn't solve the noise problem. Fortunately, I discovered the quick keys made by ZenSlabs, and I cannot recommend it enough, even though it costs a bit more than I'd originally hoped to spend. So you can program it with 5 sets of shortcuts, as you can see on the screen here, changed with a button, this button on the right, and the dial can also be switched across 4 sets with a separate button. Plus, if you use left rotate and right rotate as button presses instead of a dial, you can get another 2 shortcut buttons out of it. Over time, I've gradually come to just use a single screen of shortcuts with the dial set up to actually act as a button, although it does the same thing whether I turn it left or right. And just to say, I have linked to the quick keys in the description below this video. They are affiliate links to Amazon US and Amazon UK. If you buy using those links, it won't cost you a penny more. But it does mean I get a small amount of the sale, and that helps me keep this course free. So if you do decide to get one, here's how I've got it set up, in the philosophy that either I should be able to do things extremely quickly with the mouse, or by using one of these buttons, even if I have Reaper in a minimal screen set, in order to maximize how much I can see something else. So I have the dial here set up to act like the play and stop buttons, so actually like the space key on the keyboard. So if I nudge it in either direction, it starts playing, and another nudge stops it and puts the playback cursor back where it started. At the other end, on the top right, I have a similar shortcut. It still starts playback, but if you press it during playback, it stops the audio and moves the playback cursor to where it was when the audio stopped, which is usually more convenient for me and definitely the way I prefer to use it when I'm reviewing audio. Back over to the left-hand side, I have a key that adds a split at the edit cursor, and just below that, one that imitates the backspace key. Then the next column has a button for ripple, punch, and roll. That's something special I'm going to be talking about in a later video. Below that, there's a button to switch between screen sets, and I'll talk a little bit about that right at the end of the course. On to the next column, and there's a button for toggling mute on my live channel for when I'm doing live readings on Discord. Then jumping to the bottom right, this is a button to start and stop recording. And then just to the left of that, I have a button which I use during recording whenever I make a mistake, and this stops recording, jumps back a few seconds, and then turns on and does a punch and roll, so that if I make a mistake, all I do is hit that button, no matter whether I've got pre-roll on or off. And it reads the last few words again, all I do is I hit that button, read along with a couple of words, continue reading, and I have a flawless recording with the mistake corrected. I'm going to talk more about that in a later video, one that is not optional, unlike this one. If you're setting this up for yourself, you may want to tweak the assignments based on your own preferences, particularly the toggle live mute button, but this layout works really well for me, particularly with the ergonomics around the bottom right key, and then the one above and to the left of it, which are the ones that I use the most. So that's where my hand tends to rest. And so you can see what this actually looks like once it's plugged in. I might need to reverse the screen here. I suspect it's going to show backwards. Let's flip this around. As you can see, you actually put in, you can type in what the shortcuts are and they display on a little screen, which is one of the most useful things about this, particularly if you're going to use 40 rows of, or 40 sets of shortcuts rather than just the 8 on one screen. That's it. It's a shorter video, but this does save me a lot of time and more importantly, it does it silently. So I wanted to share this and I'll see you in the next video.